Hello everybody, this is the Retro Bear speaking to you live from the gaming pantry with another episode of Barely Played, and we continue our Atari 2600 theme with Bert. Yes, the long forgotten brown long-nosed character with the penchant for swear words is in front of you at the moment on his hexagonal blocks. Oh, hexagonal blocks, are they more sort of square actually? Yes, they are square. Yeah, I don't know where I got a hexagonal from. But they are on the square blocks on the pyramid, waiting for the colours to be changed so we can move along to the next level. Now, this is a game that I'm playing off emulation, but I did actually own back many years ago. And it was a very confusing game because it's got some sort of inverted control attached to it and some amazingly funny sound effects, as you will be able to hear in the background. The premise is very simple. Bert has to jump across the blocks while changing the colour from blue, in this case, to yellow. You will see that there are a couple of enemies on screen. The red ball, which bounces up and down and around, will change to a sort of coily, snaky type character. The green guy who you saw at the very start of the first level, he actually jumps on and changes the blocks colour back to their original value, so Bert has to jump up and down, changing those. On the left and right hand side you've got two sort of flashing dash, I suppose really, or they're actually platforms, elevators. If Bert jumps onto those, it'll take him back to the very top square. Also interesting to point out as well, if you do happen to sort of jump up and down at the very bottom, you can actually jump off the pyramid, and that's very confusing, especially with the controls, because you have to sort of move Bert diagonally jumping rather than sort of up and down. And if you get to the edge of the square and jump up and there isn't a platform there to take you back to the very top, you end up sort of falling off and losing a life. You'll sort of at the very start, any contact with the red enemy will cause you to lose a life. As you can see Bert out the way, jumps onto the pyramid, takes him to the very top, and that should allow me to complete the level. Top left hand corner you've got the scores, and you've also got the number of lives you've got left. And you can see there's that green bugger is now going around changing all my squares back to blue. And as you can see, when Bert loses a life, he sort of gets that little exclamation mark which indicates he's swearing. There's a very interesting story about this game which I haven't got the time to go into about now, about how this actually came about and why those swear words were actually included in there. That's me making a mistake, by the way. I should jump diagonal left and I jump straight up with the joystick and then go over the side. And as the game goes on, it gets progressively harder. You have to change the colours twice. It's a very challenging game. It's very frustrating as well sometimes, but I actually think, again, for an Atari 2600, considering the technology of the time, the very early 1980s, whoopsie, never done it again, made a mistake, and that bugger's going to start changing my colours again. Now all you've got to do is jump on him and he disappears, and now I've got a green ball. I'm not sure whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know. Yeah, I completely forgot what I was talking about now, so I've done it again. There we go. So that's one game. So 16,500, not a bad go on that one. But it's a good game. It's a frustrating game. It really is. It does sort of drive you around the bend, and you can perhaps understand why Bert swears a lot. In fact, more importantly, you'll be swearing a lot as Bert when you're playing this game. It's not one of those games that's been revived either. You would have thought possibly, given the fact that he's a very early cartoon character from gaming, that there would have been an effort to revive Bert a little bit more than there has been, but there isn't. And not noticeably so, in fact, so much so he's pretty much forgotten nowadays. Any of you seen I'm sure most of you have seen the film Wreck-It Ralph. There's a rather poignant bit at the start where Bert and his friends are sort of at the main junction for the characters going into the games, and they're sort of sitting there begging for food because their game doesn't work, or begging for fruit, I think it was. Which is very poignant because it makes you wonder what happens to old video game characters that people have forgotten. And it is a good game. I do enjoy it. I mean, yes, it can annoy the hell out of you, believe me. It really can do. Its control method sometimes, when you try to make quick decisions, doesn't help it. But it's a very enjoyable game, and I think it's a pretty good conversion on the 2600. It's bright. It doesn't need flashy music. It doesn't need flashy graphics. You're playing a very simple game with a very simple premise. Characters very well done. Having played Smurf recently, which you may or may not have seen, this is sort of a very, very similar game. Lots of jumping and moving around. But I thought that game certainly one of the better games graphically on the 2600. This one probably not so as good as that one, but it serves its function very, very well indeed, and I think it's an underappreciated little bit of a classic. And if you haven't played Q*bert before and you consider yourself somebody who's into the retro games, then you need to dig it out. I know a lot of people don't like playing the retro games, particularly from this era, because how old they are and how they may sort of play, which I think is very, very strange. Same sort of way to do it, because if it's a game, you'll play it, and at the core of it is a simple premise. It depends how much enjoyment you get out of it. If you're looking for something that's going to test you a little bit more, this is very sort of repetitive. There's not a lot of variation in levels other than having to maybe re-jump on some of the blocks. I'm not even sure how the scoring works, to be honest with you. It just seems to sort of carry on and keep going. I'm not sure if there's a bonus when you get to a certain score, you get some more lives on going. I'm not sure whether the game continually loops over, being a 2600 game. I would have thought so. I'm also not aware of many conversions of Q*bert to the home systems. I know there have been the clones you get, not the official conversions, but not many. Back years and years ago, the games that were sort of ripped off were games like Donkey Kong, Space Invaders. Those were probably the main two. You didn't no one's ripped Q*bert off. They should do. It's definitely a game which is worth a revival. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'm not entirely sure how many more 2600 games I'm going to go back and play. But it's nice of those of you who have tuned in and left some responses to those and enjoyed these videos, and that's great. Hopefully I'll do a few more, because there are quite a few more Atari 2600 games that I'd like to play and sort of put on here. And they are quick and simple, straightforward videos to do. And a lot of you may not have seen Q*bert before, so if you haven't, then there you go. In the meantime, if you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and tick the video notification bell for more video notifications when they go up. In the meantime, this is the Retro Bear saying, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Until then, take care, and bye for now.